This is my girlfriend Caroline. She has been doing pole dancing seriously for 1 year now. We tried tricking a couple of years back, but she ended up twisting her ankle during a tornado kick on our first training session. Back then, she didn't really have any kind of movement hobbies, but she has always been pretty agile. In this video, I'm gonna teach her and you will see her first proper tricking session ever. After we did a little warm up with jumps, forward rolls, wrist specific exercises and stuff like this, we started the session with some handstand rolls. It's not a tricking skill, but it's a great basic acrobatic skill to have before tricking. She has already practiced some handstands against the wall, but never done the handstand roll. Because I knew she already had the two prerequisites being the handstand and the forward roll, I knew that this would be a good move for her to learn as the starter. Even though she was really good at the prerequisites, when she tried the move on her own knowing I wasn't gonna help, it was difficult for her to do it with proper technique. She isn't the best at bending her back, but that's what I wanted her to focus on. It took her some reps and some trial and error, and mainly her believing in herself when doing it on her own, but in the end she got it down pretty nicely. It was a great victory, number 1 of the day. Next we started warming up for kicks. I told her to do straight leg lifts, but she did accidentally front kicks. No worries with that, because it was actually even better for our purpose. But then afterwards she also wanted to do the straight leg lifts, which was apparently way harder for her to do. We moved on to testing her potential tricking rotation side with basic 360 jumps. The test was slightly inconclusive, and we decided to try everything on both sides and decide her tricking side later. I wanted her to start with the round kick. She already knew what a round kick looked like, and I just told her to do one. After she did a couple, I told her the principle behind the technique and wanted her to clean it up a little bit. In tricking, a round kick isn't ever really done as just a round kick, but as a part of other tricks such as the tornado kick, where it will be slightly different. Therefore, it was not the most important thing to understand well, so we didn't work on it too long. We moved on to training round kick to hook kick. I just told her to kick the round kick and then kick with the other leg while continuing spinning to the same direction as during the round kick. At first she was confused, but through some reps and me explaining the idea of how to think the hook kick hip motion, she got it down pretty easily. Hook kick is more important than round kick because it's so often used to connect tricks to one another in combos. This is also why we practiced round kick to hook kick immediately and not just hook kicks on their own. She already knew what a tornado kick was, and I just told her to do it. It was actually really easy for her to do. After she got it down, we just moved on to using it in a combo immediately. I told her that the tornado to hook kick works in exactly the same way as the round kick to hook kick. Her tornado to hook kick wasn't perfect, but during your first training it's just important to do things and understand how they work. You can then polish them later. I told her to do a couple of cartwheels because that's what we wanted to add in the end of the tornado hook combo. She was surprised how easy cartwheels felt despite not ever doing them. After thinking through the combo, she did it really well and easily. I wanted her to add a jump and a roll in the end, because in tricking you are almost always doing jumping tricks out of cartwheel. Loved how lazily she did the roll at her first attempt. After that it was easy though, but she wasn't happy with her knees not being pointed during the cartwheel. Also her wrist was hurting a little bit, so we moved on to the butterfly kick. She got the butterfly kick easily, but immediately wasn't happy with the form. She thought the legs were not going high enough. I on the other hand thought it was good enough for the first time doing it. She drilled it for a while and then I started suggesting her progression steps towards aerial. The aerial ended up being the longest we trained on a single skill this day. Slowly inverting the B-kick didn't feel like a possible strategy to her, so we ended up using the blaster method. The goal with this method is to train the upper body use to get in the inverted position and slowly start adding the jump to have both the inversion and the B-kick leg motion in the end. I wanted her to alternate between one blaster and one aerial to do the leg lifting blaster to gain the feeling of the leg lift and then do the aerial with better form. Getting the chest down and lifting the leg high up is the most important with the aerial. She improved slowly and quite steadily, but I kept pushing her to her limits. She felt like she just needed the time to get the confidence to let her mind to do the trick with all the power she had. This is very typical when learning new skills. She really wanted to get her legs up and have the knees straight. She already knew she could do this with her cartwheel, but it felt extremely hard with the aerial. It's always such a different thing to know how to do it than actually do it. In the end, I said that we were gonna do just one last aerial and put all into it. And I think this one was the best of the day. Next, she started learning the scoot. Scoot is a setup trick. She got it down pretty easily after I just explained the principle. She wasn't too happy with how it looked, but I just wanted her to try starting to combo it to cartwheel. Scoot cartwheel went nicely since the beginning. She also tried the scoot from standing and not from the knee, but it was too weird for her to do. Next, I wanted her to do the scoot B-kick. After one attempt, she wanted to give you this little dance show. She was actually starting to get really tired, but still did some reps on the scoot B-kick. We already had been at the gym for like 2 hours. Still, she had some explosive energy left, because next up was front flips, and she was actually surprisingly good. She landed one to squatted position on her third try. Then, when we started training for the proper technique, she had slightly hard time landing it better because she felt that it was hard to go to the tucked position from the straight arms up position fast and powerfully enough. Also, timing the steps correctly before jumping was a bit hard, but I think she did really well with this skill. Even the standing front flips went nicely. Overall, I think she's an extremely fast learner. She was very critical on herself early on. When she got the trick for the first time, she was immediately pointing out the flaws and what to do better. When she got stuck with something, I always made her to do the prerequisites and think through the technique before doing the move. This way, we got in some nice progress and were able to improve her understanding of what needs to happen to do the moves properly. Part 2 is coming soon, so stay tuned.